Hi, this is Jeanette from Happy Spots and Ink Spots. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to color the folds in the bottom portion of this image's dress. And you'll find a link to where you can get the image at the end of the video. So to start off, what I'm doing is I'm taking one of the lightest shades that I'm going to be working with, which is BV20, and I am going and coloring in all the crease lines. So most of them are already drawn in for me. So it's just a question of deciding where the shadow is going to be and then just laying my marker in there. This is a really detailed image, so it's really great for trying this technique out. Over here I've just added another little crease, another little layer, because I thought the area was a bit blank. And that's certainly something that you can do. Now I'm just working down here in the bottom, just adding all the little shadows. There's quite a lot of ripples there, and just adding all the color in. So once I sort of consider this my base, this gives me a good idea of how my image is going to look. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here for you, and I'm going to move on to my next color, which is BV23, and I'm basically going over now what I've already colored in, not going much beyond the line I've already laid in, and you can start to see the creases taking shape at this point. I always tell people when I'm teaching them that a light hand, sort of not to hold the marker too tightly, and not to try to be too precise, especially when you're doing this. It looks more natural if you are a little bit more relaxed when you're coloring. So I'm going to go down here into the bottom, and you can see it's quite intricate here. And all those little bows would be creating shadows, and there's little ripples here that I'm coloring in. So I'm going to move on now to the next darkest color, which is BV25. And again, just going over what I've already colored. You can see I'm not, in some areas I'm not totally coloring over my lighter markers. I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is stamped on Neenah cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, which is usually what I generally use for all my Copic coloring. It gives me very good results. So I'm doing the bottom again. And you'll find once you sort of get your color down in the creases, it starts to go faster. So now I'm working with BV29, which is the darkest color I'll be using. And at this point I'm really just making a thin line with it. It's quite dark. And I really just want it to be in the areas of deepest shadow that I lay it in. At this point, what I usually do is I take my colorless blender, and if there's any areas where you know, I've sort of gone over the line or the ink has sort of strayed past the line, I clean that up before I move on. So now I'm going to be working in reverse to what I already did. So now I have my BV25, and I'm blending there's a bit of a harsh line where the dark marker was laid in. So now I'm just blending that. I don't really want to go back all the way over it. I just want to make sure there's no harsh line there. And you can see it goes quite quickly. But this is an area where you want to really make sure that your blend looks nice. If it doesn't look nice here, it's a little bit harder to fix after you finish coloring. So now I have BV23, and again I'm going to be blending, and you're going to see that the areas where I've left it white, they're going to start being filled in a little bit more as I blend my marker colors together. I'll be covering up a little bit more of the white now. I often get asked when I'm teaching why I don't color in circles. I think a lot of people perhaps are taught, or a lot of people do color in small circles when they're using Copics. I tend to use more of feather strokes when I'm coloring, and that's just a matter of preference. I don't think there's really any right or wrong. So just to answer that question, I get that a lot. So now this is the first color that I started with, which is BV20, and now I'm covering up almost all of the white. I'm still leaving a little bit because I'm going to add something after this color to create a highlight, but most of the white now is being covered up, and I'm making sure to create a nice blend with the other marker colors. And again, you don't want to go back over into the darkest areas because you'll lose your contrast. So just make sure that you're blending out your line and then stop. Okay, for my last color, I'm using BV treble 0, and what you're going to notice right away is this color has a lot less gray in it. It's a much brighter color, and I find this really helps to sort of create a sheen and make the dress really look like it's fabric, like it's material. So I'm just filling in what's left that's white, and again I'm trying to make sure that I don't go too much over all the rest of the other coloring.